Today, I'm here to talk about teamwork, or the lack of teamwork, especially when it pertains to Battlefield 2042 and the beta that we played a few weeks back. The bottom line is, there's a lot of people out there that are peddling the notion that teamwork in 2042 is gone. Absolutely non-existent. No one plays to help their team, and everyone is playing like a one-man army. And I think, to an extent, some of this is true, and does hold quite a bit of merit. The unfortunate fact of the matter is, because of some major UI issues that could not tell you who had what gadgets, and the fact that there was no way of requesting any sort of help, whether it be requesting a medic or ammo, the fact is, it was quite difficult to play with your team if you weren't on comms with them. But this isn't necessarily what we're talking about. No, we're here to talk about people complaining about the lack of teamwork, despite the fact that there's never been a lot of teamwork in any of these games. At least from what I've played anyway. I'd just like to make it clear that everything I'm going to say in this video is pretty much entirely based on anecdotes and personal experiences. That's obviously because I don't think there's any way I could possibly sum up any of this without doing that. There's not really any data or any facts other than one metric that I'll be bringing up later, so I'd say a good 99% of this is just my own personal experiences and opinions. What that means is, obviously, a lot of what I say here could be different from your own experience. And if that is, my bad, I apologize. I don't really think it will be, but hey, you never know. So in the off chance that it is, you can completely ignore everything I said. But if not, let's kick things off with talking about the fact that people never played together in Battlefield games. Maybe never is a strong word for it, but very rarely do people play together. What do I mean by this? Well, there are a lot of facets of the Battlefield games that people just don't take advantage of because they're too lazy to work together. And it's not an exclusive problem to Battlefield 2042, and in all likelihood will barely change between these titles. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing a different game than everyone else that's talking about it, because from my own experiences, people never work together outside of very niche scenarios when it comes to things like reviving with the big massive revive indicator, which is present in 2042, and shooting rockets at tanks at the same time, which arguably isn't even really teamwork. Things like healing, throwing ammo, and repairing are rarities in these games. And that's because most of the people picked their classes based on what weapons they have access to. That means that people playing support didn't pick support to repair vehicles or to give out ammo, they picked it for LMGs. People playing medic didn't pick medic to revive or heal, they picked it for assault rifles a lot of the time. That fact is heavily compounded by the amount of times that I get revived in Battlefield 4. Spoiler, it's not very many. Despite Battlefield 4 being absolutely filled with assault players, because assault rifles are on assault, the amount of times that you'll get revived is slim to none. Not only that, but the amount of times that you can see in the death camera medics running directly over your body, whether it's because they're not running a defib or they just don't care, is even higher. It's not just limited to assault players in Battlefield 4 though. Trying to get ammo from anyone in any of the Battlefield games, aside from 5, since you can take it directly off of people, is one of the worst experiences in any game. Sometimes I think I should have a request ammo keybind just bound to my keyboard at all times. There are plenty of examples on this channel alone of me chasing after supports for minutes on end, request ammo, I need ammo, and them just being completely oblivious and not doing it because they don't care. They're playing their own little single player world. They don't care about the team, they only care about themselves, just like most of the other people playing this game. It doesn't really stop there though. I saw more than a few people talking about the fact that repair tools are something that nobody's going to use in Battlefield 2042, and getting your vehicle repaired is not going to happen. And unfortunately, this one probably holds the most weight. Because of all the gadgets in Battlefield 2042 that are helpful, I highly doubt that anyone is ever going to run the repair tool. And because of that, if you're in a tank, you're liable to never get repaired unless one of your squad mates decides to heal you and they're in comms with you. But here's the thing, this isn't a new thing. In fact, the odds of getting repaired in any Battlefield game except for 5, which finally did repair tools some justice and just defaulted them to a kit, is slim to zero. In Battlefield 4, if you get healed by a random guy with a repair tool, you've probably won the lottery. And in Battlefield 1, if you get healed by a teammate who actively picked a repair tool on a class like support, you've got odds of finding newfound life on Pluto. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, runs the repair tool on Battlefield 1. Even Battlefield 5, where the repair tool is flat out handed to you on support. You don't need to equip anything in order to repair vehicles, and I feel like I'm the only one that ever repairs vehicles. It's really, really good, and people should do it, but the fact of the matter is, they don't care. And I think that's the big thing that I'm trying to get across in this video. Battlefield 2042, with the UI issues, makes team play harder than it was before. But there's still nothing stopping people from playing as a team. The systems in place didn't suddenly make it so people decided to be selfish and only care about themselves. It's always been that way. And so the people that are living under some sort of delusion that it's not always been that way, and people have always been bastions of team play, running around healing people and throwing ammo and repairing tanks and doing all these things that teamwork requires, that just didn't happen before, and it never has. Like I said, maybe I'm playing a different game than everyone else. Maybe it's different on console since I play majority on PC. But I did play some of the older ones back on console, and I don't remember it being any different. So end all be all is, the game hasn't stopped people from team playing. It just let people finally do what they wanted to do in the first place, which was not care about anyone else. The current systems in the game allow people who actually want to play supportive roles to play those supportive roles while also being able to pick the equipment and gadgets and weapons that they want to use. The people who are already never playing as a team to begin with weren't suddenly going to be playing as a team if some gadgets that they aren't going to use to help the team were forced upon them. So if you ever wondered why you didn't get revived or you didn't see very many Maria Falks running around in the beta, it's probably because the people who were actually playing that specialist wanted to play it and wanted to help, as opposed to a bunch of people spawning on medic just because of assault rifles and never healing or reviving anybody. And on the note of Maria Falk, there was a stat that's been going around a whole lot, and hopefully I can find it and throw it up on screen, but it's something along the lines of there were X amount of grapples fired in the beta, and then some like ridiculous amount lower of Maria Falk's medic gun fired. And I think that this metric is not only extremely skewed, but also being used as some sort of faux excuse to say, look, see, I told you so, gotcha, even though it doesn't add up whatsoever. Let's think about these two gadgets for a second. The grapple gun is something that you can use non-situationally all the time to do a massive variety of things. Whether it be simply traversing the terrain faster, or grappling on top of buildings, or hell, even shooting your enemies with it, there is a huge variety of ways you can use the grappling hook. Falk's stim pistol, on the other hand, does not have nearly as many of those uses. You can heal yourself, which I'm not sure if it was included in this metric at all. You can heal teammates, and if for some stupid reason you want to do 20 damage a shot, you can shoot the enemies with it. The point I'm trying to make here is the grapple gun is something that you can use in and out of combat all the time. The stim pistol you can only use in the niche situations where your teammate gets hurt but not killed, and is standing still, and is behind some sort of cover. Because if they're not, trying to hit someone with the stim pistol is nigh impossible. It's just not happening. You can spam it at them and hope that one of them hits, but it's just not likely. Now this, admittedly, is a problem with the game. I think the stim pistol should be a lot easier to use. In my opinion, the stim pistol should be very similar to the old small med packs from Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, where it just automatically locks on and can shoot teammates. You can still leave in the free fire function if you want, but I think that it should be a lot more reliable in that if you're looking at a teammate, it should automatically be able to lock on and heal them. But regardless of that, the fact of the matter is the stim pistol was extremely difficult to use and very situational when you could use it. So not very many people used it. On top of considering the fact that the grapple gun just had more uses, and I really don't think this is an incredibly great metric to be looking at to sum up that, oh, team play is dead, nobody's using the medic operator. And even if that wasn't the case, it still probably holds some truth. There weren't as many Falcons in the beta as there were McKays, and that's because there weren't as many people that wanted to play as a medic. And there never is, in any game. Battlefield is not an exception to this. I know that it seems like a lot of people that play Battlefield have some sort of aversion to playing any other franchise, Call of Duty especially, but if you are one of those people that has some aversion to playing other franchises, I'll let you in on a little secret. In every competitive shooter that I've ever played that has supportive roles, the support classes are always the least picked and always the things that people want to see the most. In every game, there are no exceptions here. I used to play a decent chunk of Overwatch. Take a wild guess when roll queue was added, what you could get in matches the fastest with. I'll give you a hint. It was tanks and, you guessed it, supports. I just think it's ridiculous that people are skewing this kind of thing, that all of a sudden there were a whole bunch of medics running around and all these great team playing medics, and now they're gone, and it's somehow the fault of 2042. 2042 has a massive list of problems, don't get me wrong, but I just cannot for the life of me see this specific problem as being some sort of massive issue. 2042 stopped forcing people to play roles that they already didn't want to play. And to me, I don't think that's a bad thing. If they weren't gonna be playing medic anyway, and they were only playing it for the assault rifles, don't force them to play medic to use the assault rifles. Seems like a simple concept. They want to use LMGs, and they don't care about giving people ammo, don't force them to run ammo, because at the end of the day, they're not gonna be giving anyone ammo anyway. I think I'm harping on the same stuff over and over again, just with different phrasing, so I should probably wrap things up. I know people will probably not watch through the entire thing, or they'll cherry pick specific things that I said and ignore everything else, because that's really the nature of the internet. And I'm not saying that you're not allowed to disagree. In fact, I would love to hear if there are legitimate reasons why you think team play is dead or whatever nonsense I've been hearing. Because there are legitimate arguments out there, I'm sure. They're just covered up by a whole bunch of whining and people in denial about how perfect the previous games are compared to the most recent one. They always want something to complain about. With that though, I'm done. If you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you thought of everything in the comments. If you didn't, don't do those things. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.